Check one. Universal protection is something Ray scientists have been working on for more than 60 years. That's why Ray brands protect more people from pests in more places. Protection for everyone. S.C. Johnson.
Hybrid is more than fuel efficiency. It means sporty and fun to drive, and making car drivers 10 best list for the 37th time. The new 2023 Accord Hybrid.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We will call this meeting to order. Ms. Henry, could you call the roll?
Mr. Higgs,
Here.
Ms. Weiss,
Here.
Ms. Hubbard,
Here.
Ms. Vowell, Ms. Jones,
Here.
Mr. Davis,
Here.
Ms. Cousins. We have a quorum.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse the absences of Ms. Vowell and Mrs. Cousins.
I second. All in favor of an excused absence for Ms. Cousins and Ms. Vowell, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed indicate by saying no. Ms. Henry, the ayes appear to have it. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to make a few announcements. So I'd love to get started with the Spirit of Excellence spotlights for our Carr Lane Middle School Spirit Squad. Today, I have the opportunity of spotlighting the Carr Lane Middle School Spirit Squad under the direction of Gregory Tellis and Tina Parker. For those who weren't able to attend the pep rally that we had last Friday, please enjoy this video of their amazing performance. That was wonderful. We'll give them a hand even though they're not here. All right, KidSmart event. KidSmart is a partner of St. Louis Public Schools. Will be holding their annual $1 Million Drive this Friday. This event, held at Ballpark Village, will provide over 1,000 local educators with over $1,000 worth of back-to-school supplies each. It is a great community effort to start off and kick off our new school year. And then lastly, the SLPS Urban League Back to School Expo. The annual Back to School Expo took place this past Saturday. The Urban League is reporting that 20,000 people were served. For the first time, St. Louis Public Schools had teams registering students on site. That was met with a great deal of enthusiasm. Meanwhile, our Human Resources Department was also having success in recruiting new employees. One example of how this was all working in sync was Principal Falarin from Herzog Elementary reports her school now has 6 new students and a newly employed parent, thanks to our effort at the Expo. So thank you so much, HR team. Great job. All right, so next we'll have presentation, school supplies and device deployment update.
Good evening. My name is Simona Walker, Lead Instructional Specialist for Technology Services, and I will be presenting the School Supply and Device Update report on behalf of Chief Fenway. In this presentation, I will provide an overview of the distribution of iPads and laptops, and also on school supplies that all students will receive on the first day of school. All right, so just a reminder, we are a one-to-one district, which means all of our students receive a device at school, whether it's a laptop or an iPad. At the end of the 22-23 school year, we work with each school TIC to collect the equipment. Over the summer, on the iPads, we take the iPads, we thoroughly look through them, delete all of the apps that are on there, and upload the new apps for the upcoming school year. This process After that process, we place the iPads in boxes, we coordinate them by grade level, and then have them ready for distribution. This process was completed in mid-July of this year. For our laptops, we do pretty much the same thing. We collect them at the end of the school year. We go through them, we thoroughly check them to make sure that there's no damages. The batteries are working, the screens are working, and everything is working fine. We store them over the summer. For our 10th through 12th grade students this year, they will receive the same laptop that they had last year, and then our incoming freshmen will receive a new Dell laptop for their upcoming school year. This process was completed again in mid-July. Some other important information is that our team has been working to deliver the laptops to the schools. By tomorrow, end of day, Wednesday, August 9th, all laptops will be delivered to the high schools ready for distribution. For our laptop and iPad distribution, we work with what's called Technology Inventory Coordinators, or TICs. They are a liaison between the IT, the school, and the parents. Today, we started training for the tech liaisons. They begin training today. We held 3 trainings today, and we'll continue to hold trainings through the end of the week. In those trainings, we go through the logistics of how to distribute the laptops and iPads, getting the parents assigned the contracts. This year, we have a unique QR code and link that the parents can use to sign, so that way the parents do not have to come on site to sign. That link can be emailed out, and then the parents can sign it, and then on the first day of school, their student can receive the device to take home. All right, so to the fun part, school supplies. So this year, this is our 2nd year of receiving backpacks and distributing backpacks to all of our students. As you can see here, the backpacks that the students will be receiving. There's 2 different types. This one is the elementary one, and then this one is the middle and high school one, which is heavy. They have supplies in there according to grade level. So the elementary ones have the crayons, a notebook, a pencil, and things like that. And then our middle and high school receive a little bit more. They have notebooks and binders and pens and paper and things that they would need to have a successful school year or start of school year. So we've been working with that. The supplies were delivered early spring. And then in early June through the last of July was when the supplies were ordered in early spring. Then we started receiving the supplies in early June, and last week of July was when we received the last stack of backpacks. Then we worked with the principals to identify some individuals that would come and help us to pack the backpacks. So we had about 40 individuals that came on site, and they assisted us in packing the backpacks. Once we packed the backpacks, we delivered them to the schools. So we worked with principals again to determine a location that the backpacks will be stored, and also where who is going to be the contact person at the school. So we worked with the principals on that and successfully delivered all of the backpacks. Everything was done in 10 days, which was surprising. So coming in and seeing all of the supplies and thinking, oh wow, how are we going to get all this done? And in 10 days, as you can see in the picture, we started building what we call Mount Backpack. All of the backpacks were put in that location and then in another location, and then you could see the speed packs of us taking the backpacks and rolling them out to the back and delivering them to the schools. So we've been successfully, again, completed that project in 10 days. So now that every student will be able to receive a backpack on the first day of school. Principals were also asked to record auto dial messages to the parents, letting them know what equipment or what supplies will be inside of the backpacks. And then there's also information on the district's website that also lets parents know what is in the backpacks. We also had a visit from the local media, so there should be a story coming out soon on the backpacks as well. Are there any questions?
Questions for Ms. Walker?
How does it work for 10th through 12th graders who switch schools?
For the students that switch schools, we worked with, we had a list of the students that are switching schools, and we moved their equipment over to their new school.
And I'm asking this for my 9-year-old. Is there a pencil case in an elementary backpack? Because otherwise I have to go to Target.
There's the pencil case, yes, in the elementary.
Thank you.
Just because this is wonderful, thank you so much. Just because I'm curious, how do you all decide what to put in the backpacks? Is there input from students? Is there input from teachers and staff at school?
That I will let someone else answer that question.
So since this is a continuation, a second year continuation, what we did the first year is we surveyed all of our principals because we started ordering the supplies for the first year over the summer. We got feedback from schools last year. You know, some of them were saying, this looked really great on paper, but in reality, we actually needed X, Y, or Z. And so we updated that this year based on their feedback.
I have a question about calculators. Are they included in the book bag of the scientific calculators?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ms. Walker? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Thank you.
Next, we'll have a transportation update by Mr. Square Watson. Or, excuse me, Mrs. Akinola, Toyin Akinola.
Maybe she didn't want me to speak after her. Good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak before you this evening. My name is Toyin Akinola. I'm the District Transportation Director. And today I'll be giving you an update. It's just a brief update of the last presentation that we had in about a couple of weeks ago. Okay, slide. Okay, now I turned it all off. Okay. So this slide shows the route as it is today. And I just tried to do a comparison of what we had last year. So last year we had 222 routes, but this year we will be operating 231 routes. And that's just what we have, the regular 172.59. And I left the 22.3 blank because today is our route peak. So they just finished it before I came. This morning, when I was putting this together, I didn't have the number. But I am glad this is the first time that our drivers will come in full force for route peak. Out of the 231 routes, 226 drivers showed up today. We've never had anything like that, so we are really excited. Well, we're still in a deficit of 5, but as I will show you, we're prepared. We have more than enough drivers as now, but what I just want to be factual about, drivers showing today doesn't mean we're going to see them on the 21st, because we don't know. Anything can happen from now till 21st, but we'll have a contingency plan. So I want everyone to know that. So I have to get used to this. Okay. So this is just to show how the estimated driver count is. Like I said, we have 231 routes, 35 spare drivers. The state actually and the contract actually request for 10%. However, we had the bus company, the vendor, and us agreed to up it to 15% because of the rate of absences. So it should be 254 total drivers, but we upped it to 266. And now, as of today, as I just stated, we have 226, and I know we're going to have a lot of spare later. But if you see the behind the wheel training, those are 23 drivers that have finished all their training. They're just waiting for maybe the test or one of the background check, 1 or 2 steps to start driving. That's why we call them behind the wheel training. And then we still have 27 people that are still in the classroom. Okay. So tomorrow, 5 senior drivers, we call them senior drivers because they already have their CDL. So they came in today, and so we're signing them on tomorrow. That's why I said we're comfortable with the 226 that we have today. Adding the 5, mathematically, we're okay, 231. However, I want us to have maybe about 254 just to offset absences. And then we have the 11 people that have been scheduled for testing on those various days. If they pass those tests, then they can come on board. But if they don't, then they have 30 days again to redo the test. So here are our contingency plans. The vendor, they have all their drivers, all the office staffs have CDL, so they can drive. So we use them very often when we're short. So they promise that they will use some of their drivers if we have a shortage. They're seeking assistance from all their other sites, locations, the ones that are not starting schools on the 24th. They will bring some of the drivers in. We've also renewed contract with 2 cab companies, and those cab companies have promised us about 60 vans. That's between the 6 to 8 vehicles. That will cover, if we do the math, she'll cover about 5 routes. So we're good. And then we have the alternate vendors, and they have various sizes of vehicles. We have one with a 65 passenger, has CDA, has the X endorsement. So that one, that particular company, we treat that company as like a bus company. So they can transport 55 passenger students for us. So we are good on that. And then we have Metro bus tickets for our high schools, and we have adult tickets for the parents that wants to bring their kids to school. And this is very good for the ELL community. Some of the parents prefer to bring the kids to school for various reasons. So this year, our top priority is customer service. That's our top priority. And so we're trying to put everything, every tool that we have to make sure that we give excellent customer service to our parents. So we have the company, Missouri has hired 8 temp staff. They started yesterday. And they're answering phones from 8 to 4:45, and they will change that to 6 p.m. when school starts, or till the last bus drops the students. The district, thank you to the board, approved temp staff for me. However, we were supposed to start training today. We only had 1 coming out of 10. Yes. So I called the temp company. They are short of staff as well. But they asked us if we know anyone. So if anybody here, have anybody that has that time for the next 3 weeks, please call me, and we will sign you up, and yeah, you can come help us. We've already called cousins and family members to please come to join the staffing company so that they can help us. So that is where we are now with staffing in-house, but the bus company is fully staffed, the call center is fully staffed and operative. So besides that, we have communication tools that we have put in place. And we have the bus tracking app. Here comes the bus. As of before I came in here, I checked this number of subscribers. I think we have 2,637 subscribers. That doesn't equate to the number of students. It just equates to the number of parents that have subscribed. We have about over 3,000 students in the system, but 2,637 subscribers. And the good thing about this, here comes the bus, is parents can use it to track their buses in real time. They can set parameters for the students. So especially during inclement weather, instead of a parent to send the kids out, you can set 5 minutes weather distance parameter or time parameter. So what that does is, when it's whatever minute or the time frame you put or the distance, when that bus gets into that geofencing, it sends you an alert to tell you, this minute to your stop, so that you can send the kids to stop. So a lot of parents that are using it when it's functioning, they're very happy about it. And we're holding Missouri really hard this year that they have to make sure that that app functions. We also have, then they're working with, they should be signing that contract with this company for the bus bulletin. It's a text messaging tool that we can use in-house when we have bus issues and send it to parents' phone numbers. They were supposed to sign the contract this week, but I don't know how far because they were busy with the route peak, so I didn't want to disturb them today. But once we get that is a great tool for our parents as well. That instead of sending email or waiting for phone calls when a bus is late or when we have any bus issues, we just send it and it goes straight into the text messaging. And I know that the school district has a text messaging tool, but we're not privy to it. So if we have access to it, I think it will be a great tool, very helpful for the department as well. So other tools that we have that are helpful to the parents, the bus stop locator. It's a web-based link that parents can go and put their address and gives them the update of their buses, the bus details, rather than call us. You don't need to call us. You can just go to that website. And so with here comes the bus. Here comes the bus as well. It gives you your students updated student information. So if we make changes, you can see it immediately. And the same thing goes for the e-link. And the administrators who have e-link, we will be training the administrator. We're putting the training packages so that they can look at stops for their students too. And we've updated frequently asked questions. There's any information you need that you want about transportation, you can go online and the answer will be there. Those are our numbers listed. And those numbers are active and operative at the moment. For the first time, we're starting a focus group. We've never done that before, and I'm excited about it. We're collaborating with Ms. Gloria Nolan. I've talked to 5 principals that have already signed. So Ms. Nolan will be giving us the list of parents and students that will be part of the focus group. So we're really excited about it because we want inputs. We want to get better. We want to give excellent service. This is just a timeline where we are now. We send out a bus letter. We emailed our bus letters. And that bus letter that we emailed had generated lots and lots of requests. So we're really happy that by on the 15th, we are locking all the routes. So whatever the parents have from when they got the letter till now, we're receiving tons and tons of calls. Right now, we're inundated with calls from parents, and we're making the changes as we go. On the 15th, as I said, we're locking the routes so that the drivers have the same route, and because we don't have the time to make changes and send to parents. I just want to state that we're still sending another email out, but that email, unfortunately, will just go to parents with active email addresses. The email that we sent out, we received over 300-400 undeliverable that came back. So now we're asking the phone call, the clerks, when the parents call, they have to verify their emails, verify their phone numbers, and we've been successful about that. The dry runs is on 10/11. This is when drivers go out, test the run, drive it actually the way that it's supposed to be. And then on the 18th, we send manifest to school. We've already sent an initial manifest. We always have challenges, and our challenges still remains the same. As I said, is staffing. Right now, I only have one-time staff, 1 out of 10. So if anybody wants to come on board, we're ready. We have cookies. We have whatever you want. And I put the continuous student assignments there because this constitutes to revision in our routes. I don't think it's not efficient when we're changing routes on a weekly basis. We've had parents call us that they've had to change their times from just 2 minutes, 3 minutes difference. But I wish that we could have, just like all of the school district, one change per month, so that everybody knows if you move, we just give you an existing stop, pending the time that we put another one. We cannot be efficient when we continually change these routes. Just want to put that there. And then one of our challenges is incorrect information in the system. As from the back to school I was at the back to school, I changed almost 50 addresses. Those are the addresses that the parents were coming out, had to change the addresses. So, and that means all the information that we had sent to them, the routes that we have established, those routes we have to revise. And that's what we're doing now. So that's my journey. Here I am. I think I'm on point. My ETA is on point. Thank you.
Questions for Ms. Akinola or Mr. Watson?
My question is, first of all, you have a really very difficult job. Really doing my hat off to your wig off, whatever.
Thank you.
But I know that this city is full of homeless families that are moving constantly. We have a real serious housing crisis here, and it makes transportation very, very difficult for the district, for everybody. And so when you come across all of these changes, I noticed you had 2 bus companies. What are the alternatives for those students who find themselves homeless once again, once they've given you their information? And then you had it where you have to, do they have to have an email address? Because many of us don't have access to computer, perhaps, because of our family situation. So how else, and if they don't get the letter, then what can they do?
Okay. The only time that we email bus letters to parents is now, for the start of school. Most of the time when we make changes during the school year, we send the hard copy to the schools, and so the school disseminate the bus letters. That's what we do every week. So they give it to the student, the appropriate student. So we do that. But for now, what we are doing that we plan to do for those parents that have no emails is to call them and said to let them know, or we've already spoken to administrators when we met with them at Stevens to let the parents know if you don't have email, all or most of our parents have smartphones. They can go to the e-link and they will find the bus information on there.
What can parents do to help with the transportation of their children? Just say, for instance, I've seen really young children on the bus stops alone. The parent probably had to go to work or something. Or do you have any suggestions on what they can do to help transportation, the bus company, or will we know when a student actually gets on the bus, the name of the student, or do we relay that information to the principals that Johnny didn't get on this morning, or that kind of thing?
I think technology will be the best. I know that there are software out there and hardware where when we try this, one is called Z Pass. This is it's attached to the student's ID. So when they come in, it scans it. So it sends a message to mom that Johnny just got on the bus. We get a message, Johnny's on the bus. But we haven't gotten there yet because it's not our bus. This is a new bus company. I've had a conversation with them. But right now, what we do, we rely on the driver. But because of the shortages, it might be different drivers every day. So they don't even know that that's Johnny's bus stop or now. So we just say, maybe we need to go back to what we were trying to do at one time, that the neighborhood workers, because I was part of them, that we have neighborhood workers at strategic bus stops, and they call us and let us know who's at the stop, who's not at the stop. That's what I can think of right now.
Can the community, I don't know, perhaps if there's a number, like I see all the signs from SLPS enrolling now, what have you, maybe perhaps saying, if you see something, say something. If you see a child at a bus stop and there's the dangerous situation going on, that a person can call if in the community. Is that possible?
It's possible. It's a great idea, but I think the community is doing that right now. We get calls when students are standing outside. People call us and say, I've seen this kid standing here for the past 15 minutes. And sometimes they're not even saying this public school student, but they call us. Yes, they're doing that. It's a good idea. I think we could try it. It's not going to cause any harm.
Thank you so much for what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
For real, God bless you.
Thank you.
Can you tell me what happens with the special needs buses? How does that work?
The special is, everything is IEP generated. Whatever is in the IEP is what we call transportation as a related services. So whatever the accommodation, that's exactly how we set it up. So we don't make any decision is strictly based on the IEP because of compliance issues. So this year, what we did better, if you look at it, one of the slides, the table slides, last year we had 77 sped routes, and this was based on inefficiency because the way that we started the school year with half of the buses not running. So subsequently, we were just adding routes, so we had more special ed routes. But this year, what we did, if a route it has a special, that route has to be all special. That is AM and PM with special. So except in some cases where we integrate them, the special the Gen Ed student on special buses, but not strictly SPED, AM and PM. But as I said, it's IEP based. Nothing. We don't make any decision. If the IEP says small bus, we put small bus. If it's AC, whatever the accommodation, the restraints, exactly what the IEP say. Otherwise, we'll be out of compliance.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So, but please, before I go, if you have any relatives, anybody that you know that can answer phone, please give me a call. My cell phone is 314-532-1691. I am very serious. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Akinola. Dr. Scarlett, I think that concludes presentations for tonight. We'll move on to the consent agenda. I would like to make a motion to take two items separately at first, at the request of Ms. Weiss, since it involves her employer. So I'll move to approve 0808-2301 and 0808-2321.
I second.
Any discussion on those two items? Mrs. Henry?
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Wise,
Abstain because it's by place of employment.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I'll now move to approve 082302 through 082320 and 082322 through 082325.
I second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Henry?
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Wise,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed.
There is a walk-on item which I'd like to propose an amendment to. That is 082326. There was a little bit of confusion since there's a memorandum, an agency agreement and a memorandum of understanding with the St. Louis Public Schools Foundation. So I want to propose an amendment just for clarity that 0808-2326 is just to approve the payment of the annual payment of $40,000 as administrative costs for the foundation to serve as the fiscal agent of school-based funds. Can I get a second on that motion to amend?
I second.
Any discussion? Sorry, that's a little bit confusing on this.
I
Yes.
do.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
just for clarification, so that was, are you proposing what was on the original agenda that we received, or what was on board docs?
So I think that what was on board docs, this one was a version of the agency agreement, which is still under development. We had agreed that Dr. Scarlett and the foundation were going to take some time to sort of make that agency agreement a little more clear in terms of what the priorities are. So what the amendment is to just approve the $40,000, which we normally approve in March, so we're a little behind. So what happens is we have all these school-based funds. I forget how many are. There's hundreds of them. Every school has one, but then individual PTOs can set up, athletic associations, band projects. And so because the foundation is a 501c3, they can serve as a nonprofit fiscal agent for those funds. So you can do things like if your company has matching funds or tax deductions, plus they keep those funds separate, accounted for. And it's always been, since the foundation has been around, that the district reimburses for staff to maintain that accounting. So that's what my amendment is, just to approve payment of those funds. Any further questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And in terms of what you just spoke of, paying the administrative costs, I'm a little confused because the foundation collects millions of dollars, and you're saying that we're paying them $40,000 to handle those dollars and they also take monies out of those monies that they collect to pay administrative costs. And plus, we provide them with space.
So I've asked that question before, and so this is traditionally how it was explained to me as I understand it. So those funds, the school-based funds, they do not take administrative costs out of. The administrative costs would come out of funds that they raise outside of that for other purposes. And that'll be part of that administrative agreement or that agency agreement that we will consider in the months to come once that's been redeveloped. We had one in 2018. It was supposed to be approved annually. It hasn't been approved since then, so it's still being developed. The way it was explained to me, Ms. Jones, was that the finance department would have to hire somebody to manage those funds if we did it in-house. And if we did it in-house, they wouldn't have those tax benefits as a 501c3 fiscal agent. So the agreement was with the foundation way back when, before I was on the board, probably during the SAB times, it would have been during SAB times, that they had an agreed upon amount to reimburse them for hiring a bookkeeper basically to manage those funds. That was the way it's been explained to me.
Okay.
If anybody here has any other clarity on it. Ms. Willis, who's kind of been liaison's nodding her head yes.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so this is a vote to approve the amendment, and then we will vote on the underlying item. Everybody understand? Okay, Ms. Henry.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Abstain.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I now move to approve 08-2326 as amended.
Second.
Ms. Henry.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Abstain.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed.
We now move on to board member reports and committee reports.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
That's still kind of about the consent agenda. When I read what Ms. Henry sent us, there was an item there about the redesign, and I don't see it here, and I was just wondering, I went to the reception for it, so I was wondering where it went and how it worked.
Was that this month or is that next month? I think that's next month. I think you're reading September. Okay, it's being reconfigured, so it may reappear. So, but that was going to be on for next month. Before we get into board member reports, we do have two professional development requests. And just for the new board members, there is a professional development form if you have individual professional development, but sometimes when we have conferences that would be of interest to the entire board, we bring on them and vote on them to approve together, and then you just work it out with Ms. Henry or arrangements. So you all have information on those. The first one is the Council of Great City Schools Annual Conference. We've actually been asked or invited to do a presentation regarding school safety, similar to the presentation that we did for the COSBA conference. I don't know what COSBA stands for, but it's a bunch of school boards down. So this would be for approval to attend the fall conference from October 25th through 29th for the Council of Great City Schools. So could I get a motion to approve that professional development request for the entire board? Doesn't mean you have to go, but.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Ms. Henry.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed.
The next one is for the 2023 Missouri School Boards Association Annual Conference. Can I get a motion to approve professional development for the board to attend that conference?
I'll make a motion for the board to approve the attendance of the 2023 MSBA Annual Conference in Kansas City.
Second. Any discussion? Mrs. Henry.
Mr. Hikes,
Yes.
Ms. Weiss,
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard,
Yes.
Ms. Jones,
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Any other board member or committee reports? Ms. Jones.
Okay. I wanted to comment on our pep rally that we recently had with the staff. It was so uplifting and so invigorating to see all the wonderful people that were there. So many times, so many of our teachers and staff, security, food service, all of those people don't get the recognition that they rightly deserve. And I'm really hopeful and prayerful that this is going to be one of the best school years that we've ever had, especially under the leadership of our current board and Dr. Scarlett. I just really appreciate everybody that came out, and it just made me so happy. And another one was the back to school fair that we attended. And just just being there, seeing all the families and listening to the gospel music and just watching people get along just for that moment in time in St. Louis. We have so many things going on, but I think overall, providing those parents and those students with all those various services spoke to the real true need that we have in this community for so much more for our young people. And it just makes me even more determined as a board member and a person in this community to provide more things for our students in this city, because we shouldn't have to take our children out in the county or somewhere else just to have fun. And so I just want to thank everybody that came out, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
If there's no other board member or committee reports, I do have some reports on behalf of Ms. Cousins. Along that line, Ms. Jones, the St. Louis Public Schools pep rally took place on August 4th at the Enterprise Center to kick off the start of the 23-24 school year. Board of Education President Cousins began the event with a heartfelt remarks about the selection of Dr. Keisha Scarlett as the superintendent of St. Louis Public Schools. She then introduced the special guest, William Stanford Davis, a Northwest High School alumnus. You may know him as Mr. Johnson, the star of Abbott Elementary. Mr. Davis, or Stan, as he's known by friends, captivated the audience of nearly 1,500 SLPS employees with a speech full of inspiration, great humor, and tales of his time growing up in St. Louis and St. Louis Public Schools. President Cousins then introduced our keynote speaker, Dr. Keisha Scarlett, who shared her positive experience of joining the SLPS family and emphasized the district's culture of success. Dr. Scarlett assured the crowd of SLPS's continued success and its role as a regional standard bearer. The pep rally concluded with dancing, laughter, exciting prize giveaways, and an overall sense of anticipation for the upcoming school year. And as we saw, it kicked off with the amazing Car Lane, just a portion, just four, but they were a mighty four of the Car Lane Spirit Squad. The full Spirit Squad, or a bigger portion of the Spirit Squad, was at the Urban Expo as well and kind of stole the show. One other event in addition to the Urban Expo was the SLPS Students in Transition Back to School event. The SLPS Students in Transition Back to School event Community Health Fair was held at SLPS Central Office on Wednesday, August 2nd. It was marked by a special tradition. The director of the program, Dr. Deidre Thomas Murray, consistently aligns the event with her birthday. And she ensured that the families were not only welcome to the fair, but also to her Mardi Gras themed birthday celebration. The unique touch added a sense of warmth and camaraderie to the occasion, creating an atmosphere of community and festivity despite a little bit of rain. The fair provided vital resources such as school supplies, uniforms, immunizations, medical checkups, dental and vision exams, and mental health services, underscoring the district's holistic approach to student well-being. And hats off to the Students in Transition Office, especially this time of year where all of the students in transition have to be go through an intake process. They are a small but mighty department to eventually register sometimes as high as 5,000 students who qualify for those services. So it was another wonderful event to kick off the school year. A couple of other updates from President Cousins. She's busy when she's not even here and telling me what to do. We have planned our first joint Board of Education and cabinet retreat with Dr. Scarlett and her team for Saturday, September 30th, in which we'll work to develop student outcome goals to guide our joint work and build relationships. So that'll be September 30th, location to be determined. And also, President Cousins has requested, along with myself, 3 different studies, and Dr. Scarlett has agreed to ask the staff to provide those. That will be regarding professional learning, partnerships, and data inventory. We have set the professional learning study to be completed in a board presentation meeting for September 12th. Partnership study and a presentation meeting on October 10th to the board, and a data inventory to a board work session presentation on October 24th. So that concludes the board and the president reports, and we will now turn it to public comment. So as a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes, and we do ask that everyone remain respectful in their comments. Our first commenter is Ms. Rebecca Keene. Ms. Keene?
Thank you. Good evening. First, I wanted to wish you all the warmest wishes for your upcoming academic year. All the staff, students, drivers, operations folks, we send you all the best from my neighborhood. I know we do. So thank you all for your service, and I wanted to thank you also for acknowledging my request. Last month, I asked for several sunshine requests. It was acknowledged today, so almost 30 days after I requested that, and I wanted to know how we might work together to speed things up. On February 9th and 10th of 2021, a St. Louis Public Schools individual from the real estate group responded to a developer 10 times within 48 hours, all after 6 p.m., some as late as 10 p.m. at night. The building was not listed on February 9th, but it was listed on February 10th. So in that string it says, I think I'll know tomorrow. I think so. Let me check tomorrow. Not sure what the BOE did in closed session today. I will circle back with Dr. Adams tomorrow. They were given my listing recommendations and the headwinds in the committee about listing before the school is out for the summer, and we're going to discuss it further with the full board tonight. Waiting is a mistake, in my opinion, for several reasons. Well, it's also a mistake in my case. Fanning Middle School is up for tax abatement tomorrow, and so those records are not available to me, and I have been requesting them for 8 months. So I was wondering if anyone could maybe consider, as a taxpayer, that I might have access to those and get the same care that the developer had. I believe that developer provides his residential taxes somewhere in Manchester or Ellisville. So I was hoping maybe I could get the same sort of care that he got. And since I suspect that the Lion School, which the developer also delivered, was also tax abated for 10 years, I would guesstimate that those of us individuals in this room have potentially contributed more taxes than that developer has to the St. Louis City Public Schools. Right? So, with all that said, I'm really looking forward to getting those records, and I would ask you all to take a serious look at those and any records surrounding the surplus schools and the unnecessary practice of negotiating low-income housing tax credits and tax abatements. And finally, I would like to share with the board that there is a need for you to enhance your vigilance regarding neighborhood associations and local officials. Those interactions require the same level of scrutiny and critical thinking that are tendered for your students. They are a foundation of trust within the community. I want to thank you finally for these 3 minutes that I am afforded here in public forum. In my neighborhood association, there are no public comments. There is no section on the agenda that affords me the opportunity to get up and speak. That is how poorly the neighborhood was represented in this case. Thank you very much for your time and your service, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Ms. Keene. Mr. Murphy, do you care if I call you last? Thanks. Ms. McNeil.
I also have some handouts. On this letter is addressed to the St. Louis School Board, and the members. Regarding the June 12th, 23rd public board meeting, a formal complaint is being written in compliance with the Missouri Sunshine Law, open meetings, Attorney General Andrew Bailey, State of Missouri. dear Antoinette Cousins, and board members. Our school district consists approximately of 74 schools, 19,229 students, 1,650 teachers, and other employees, with a 90% minority and an off of the chart of poverty level. We rank number 52 out of 552 out of 557 school districts in Missouri. My point is this: 801 North 11th Street is too small to hold the structure of your already designed public school board meetings. Your invited guests will fill up the 20 chairs you have for the public hearings. In order to stay in compliance with the Missouri Sunshine Law and the COVID-19 guidelines, a large facility is required. Or this board should cut back on this entertainment agenda and listen to the input of the stakeholders, the citizens of the city of St. Louis, and the state taxpayers. My complaint: the horrific experience which happened to me on Tuesday, June the 12th, 2023, here at 801 North 11th Street. I had arrived approximately 6:30 p.m. In my travel to the meeting, I had been in two highway Interstate 70 intercounters before arriving. I went through the checkpoint system of the St. Louis security and proceeded to enter into the public school board meeting. Then I approached a man of whom I had seen before at the school board meeting, but was not fully aware of his position with the system. I thought he might have been a part of the St. Louis security. Later, I investigated and learned he is an employee of the St. Louis Public School, and his name is Square Watson. I was told by this person, you have to leave the building because all 20 chairs are filled. I told him I was told by this person, I read that. I told him I wanted to present during the citizens' comment. I didn't leave, but waited outside the door in the lobby. I suppose Square Watson was authorized by this board to approach lay people and prevent them from entering. I wish no citizen experienced what I did on July the 12th, 2023. My suggestions and recommendations. Number one, leave the 20 chairs for citizens and not for the board's invited guests. Presenters. Number two, use a larger facility. I would expect to write a written answer to my complaint within 3 business days. This is not a sunshine law. This is leading up to one. I have to make it a complaint here first. My name is here, and I expect an answer. Thank you.
Mr. Justin Eidelberg.
How you nice people doing? As you all stated, my name is Justin Eidelberg. I'm the Executive Director of the Cabanne District Community Development Corporation. And I would like to talk to you all about a future partnership with some ESSER funding. And why am I asking you all about this funding is because I live in an educational desert. You all closed down my first place of education, Hamilton Branch 2, in 1994. And going on down the road, Cook Middle, Enright School left, Classical Academy left our neighborhood. Hempstead has been, what? Crumbling. If I was an environmental person, you all would be charged with something that's described as environmental racism because you all have vacancies or overgrown grass and things that would be seen in prison fields via fences. So, in saying that we live in an education desert, it feels that, it not just feels, it also shows that you all are playing a role in preschool to prison pipeline, because we have no opportunity to thrive. No mother and no child can do what you all stated in the vision if we have no schools. And the one school we do have access to, let's play the St. Louis game, on the south side of Delmore, Big Hamilton, is at 0.5% of children are able to read on a third school grade reading level, right? So we're being taxed for what? My grandma's 94 years old. Everyone around in probably a 5-block radius is around the same age as my grandmother, with the exception of some middle-aged new people and some young people that have been coming into the West End neighborhood for all the other great reasons that we have. And with that being said, how again can we work together to build a West Side complex? Because I respected you all's wishes. You all said wait for whatever this plan, vision plan now to be completed. I'd like to talk to you all about allocating some funds to design a new West Side school complex. You all say we don't exist. You all lump us with the North Side, but you all take our tax dollars that you get from elders, because you don't get them from developers. That I do know. I come to a lot of you all meetings and you all give TIF reports, but you all are taking from us. And how do we move forward as we create a post-COVID education system that we don't have as of yet? I haven't seen it in your vision plan. Our neighborhood and our side of town has been visionary. St. Louis, my side of town, put the first blue ribbon principal educator I ever met, Dr. Joyce Roberts. Without having that type of greatness, her and many other hardworking people around me who are now elders who can't come out and talk, I want to help them see a better future other than death, dope, and decay. And this is why I'm asking you all, and you all got power, you don't have to use it, but eminent domain, but we ain't got to do much of that because a lot of the area where we can build a school has already been knocked down. So to buy out and do an equitable community benefits agreement, the people that we would buy out, we would put in comparable housing that we would build or rehab. So I would like to ask you all, can we have a conversation? Maybe it's legal, I don't know. I don't know who handles the ESSER funds, but we need to provide some type of design and something moving forward. Because my side of town, we got 2 billionaires and a multimillionaire, all got investment going on there. I got a no face, no case policy. If you don't know, go talk to the folks at SLDC. But nevertheless, how do we build and develop a community that would be like Elroy Jetson and if Tony, my man Iron Man, like Tony Starks. How do we create that for our kids moving forward? Because I look at what y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Adelberg.
Thank y'all, appreciate y'all, and see y'all next month.
Next is Ebony Williams.
How y'all doing? I'm Ebony. I'm the director of organizing at Bridge to Hope. I'm speaking more towards the blueprint that's not a plan but a vision that you guys probably envisioned on one of your retreats that you were talking about. But these are our expectations for that plan or vision or whatever y'all wanted to call it. Significant improvement in reading proficiency. We demand to see a big improvement in how well kids can read in the whole city. This includes helping students who are currently struggling with reading, enhanced teacher training. We demand that over the next 2 years, all teachers for grades K-3 will learn new ways of teaching reading. This is required by Senate Bill 681, and it will help teachers be better at teaching young students to read. Regular academic discussions. We expect that every board meeting will include discussions about how well students are doing in school. This will help us keep track of progress and make decisions that improve reading and other subjects. Measurable progress in reading. By using tests and assessments, we will check if our efforts to improve reading are working and making a difference for students. Increased awareness of education reparations. We, the parents and caregivers, want to talk openly about the unfair disadvantages certain communities have faced in the past. This will help us find ways to make things better for all children and make sure everyone has equal opportunity. Community involvement. We demand that SLPS partners with community-based organizations to actively support and participate in the goal of improving reading skills. This way we can make lasting progress together. Transparent reporting. We request regular updates on how well we are doing with improving reading and implementing the new teaching methods. This will keep everyone informed and accountable. Collaboration with experts. We request that the SLPS collaborate with reading experts, teachers, parents, and others to find the best ways to help students become better readers. And resource allocation, we request that teachers have all the resources that they need, like money, materials, and technology to teach reading effectively. Sustainable long-term commitment. We are demanding that SLPS commit to making these improvements last beyond the 2-year teacher training program. We also demand that SLPS will keep working on these goals and adjust as needed to help students succeed. And that's the end of our expectations, but we would like a written response back within at least a week on basically what the plan looked like. And I'm going to stop calling it a plan because like 50 times you guys did state that it's not a plan, that it was whatever vision. But I don't see us spending $600,000 on a vision. I mean, I don't think that people just go stand in the mirror and say, I'm going to dream about this for $600,000. And then we sitting up here on the board talking about we got homeless kids. That $600,000 could have went to homing them.
Shanetta Wyndham.
Hello, I'm Shanetta Wyndham, a concerned aunt. And I had a couple of questions. First off is how much money will it cost to implement the planned portion of the STL blueprint when it already costs over $600,000? And also, how long would it take to complete the phase 2? If it already taken 2 years to complete the SLPS blueprint, how long do we expect for it to take to assemble the community to plan and execute phase 2? Also, I want to know, can you provide the evidence-based literacy data for schools who have adopted the community school-based system suggested in the citywide educational plan? And by what date can we hold St. Louis Public Schools accountable for the promises of the St. Louis Public Schools blueprint? I'm done.
Dr. Preston.
Oh, it's on. Hey, everybody. This is Lauren Preston. I'm a parent, and just as a little ray of sunshine, my daughter has started taking graphic novels with her to read very slowly at night in bed. And Dr. Scarlett, you haven't heard my whole story, but this is like nothing short of a miracle. But so I actually came, and parents were giving me some requests for comments. The first one is that being enrolled as an approved volunteer is really difficult. I'm even familiar with the process because I've done this before in my job, and I got hung up on like the various steps that you have to do to like return a document that you get via email to. It's a lot of steps and it's complicated, and then some people like never hear back, and so. Yeah, so they want to ask about a more streamlined process. Second thing was registration, but I heard that there's maybe something in the works to help streamline transfers between schools in the district. Like today when I went to register my daughter, she's transferring from one school to another, I brought a physical copy of like her birth certificate and like everything to the school, even though she's been in the district for 5 years. So that's a request from parents. And then the third thing is basically the people from Bridge to Hope said a lot of what I've been asking, which is I want to know what the plan is for identifying kids who are struggling to learn how to read. And I want to know what assessments, not just STAR, are being used to determine if they're struggling. I want to know what the cut scores are, percentile ranks, not grade levels, and I would like to know how that's being communicated to parents in a way that they can understand. Again, I don't think grade levels really communicate what we're trying to say. I feel like I've put in the work to ask that because I've worked with the literacy committee, I've made recommendations, I've done literature reviews. I don't make 6 figures, but I'm willing to help anyone out that is struggling in this area to bring forth research. So I really reiterate the request that the district make this transparent about how we are addressing this and how we are intervening and what curricula we're using at Reading for Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Okay, thank you for your time.
Philip Fayemi. Mr. Fayemi.
How you folks doing today? Thank you all for coming out. I know some of you were under the weather, so you couldn't be here. So shout out to all the people that's watching from home. What I wanted to address was some of the places like Cole, Lexington. Those are the sort of the left behind elementary schools. And if you look, for the past 5 years, they've been the low tier when it comes to math and reading. So what we want to do is really request the board really give us some answers. We also know that you were supposed to train 15,000 people because, you know, the school board voted on making sure that 15,000 teachers were professionally developed to give our children a great curriculum. However, so far the numbers have shown that only 3,000 teachers have been professionally developed. Also, we want to know which teachers, what schools, and how that's going to move forward. We're also looking for just a real solid plan, meaning when is phase 2 coming out? Also, community schooling. Can we get some evidence-based data on the community school part? Because I looked through every part of the plan, but I really didn't see outcomes, you know, from the California, from the Chicagos, that was in the citywide education plan. So that's my spiel today. Again, I appreciate you good folks for coming out and listening to us, and hopefully we have some answers on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Last but not least, Mr. Charles Babatu Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I want to welcome Dr. Scarlett, St. Louis, and to our St. Louis Public Schools. Next, I want to thank the board and Interim Superintendent Dr. Nicole Williams, because October 1st, I'll be 79. And I decided I wanted to go on and retire and do my music. And she supported that. But I asked for a special assignment, so I kind of hang around and meddle. Well, hang around and help with the TV station and so forth. And that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm liking it. So it gives me a chance to, you know, slowly thank people. And I do want to say thank you. I really enjoyed tonight's board meeting because people are here. That's why I come. The best presentation that happened at Roosevelt last year was 2 young black children danced and sang about the Nguzo Saba. That means 7 principles. If you don't know what they are, you might know about Kwanzaa: unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Now, you want to tell me those 7 things won't help what we're trying to do in this community? But the best thing about it, they made this presentation just like when we saw the young people playing those drums and performing. Y'all understand, that's part of that, you know, science, math, technology, engineering, and that the fifth one called art. Art is where we share all that creativity with other humans. And that's what we got to focus on, making that happen. So I thank you, and I'm going to retire, yeah. It's really going to happen. do my music, but I'm still be coming up in here because some people thought I was gone. This is where my love is. Thank you.
Mr. Murphy, I'm going to break the rules and take a point of personal privilege for 1 second. That's why I asked you to go last. How long have you worked in the school district?
51 years.
I just want to thank
That's
you,
all.
sir. Let's give you a standing ovation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you. We appreciate your service. And more than anything, we appreciate your passion and eloquence on behalf of the children of the city of St. Louis. Thank you.
Thank you, and you're very welcome.
With that, could I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Henry?
Mr. Hikes?
Yes.
Ms. Weiss?
Yes.
Ms. Hubbard?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you all.